Hello, and welcome to the last lesson in Unit 5. So we are starting Unit 5, Lesson 4. I can distinguish between a proportional and a non-proportional relationship. So we've been talking a lot about slope, but now we're going to build in and start talking about our y-intercept. And we're going to play around a little bit and see what we get, because I want you to understand where we're getting this information. So right now we're going to take and we're going to divide our y by our x. So if I have a negative 8 divided by a negative 3, I get the number 2 2/3. So I'm going to write that here, 2 2/3. And then I'm going to take 1.9 and divide it by 0.3. I'm going to get 6 1/3. And we're going to take 7 and divide it by 2. And I get 3.5, or 3 1/2. And 13 divided by 4. 3 1/4. None of that looks like anything else. They're all different numbers, right? Well, let's look at this table over here. If we do 5 divided by 2, I get... Did I do that? No, I did that wrong. 5 divided by 10. So 5 divided by 10 is 0.5. So 0.5, which is 1/2. And then 3.25 divided by 6.5. I'm getting 0.5 again. Well, negative 1 divided by negative 2. I get 1/2 last time. What do we think this last one might be? Let's see. Negative 3.5 divided by negative 7. And this, I get 0.5 again. So what do we notice about this? I noticed that the ones on the right, when we divide y by x, they're all the same. And when we divide on the left, they're different. So let's explore that a little bit. That means that this graph right here this table right here is a proportional relationship. When we divide y by x, they will all be the same. But on this side, this is a non-proportional relationship. And to find the slope, we really are going to have to put this in our calculator and find what our y-intercept is. So we would use stat edit to find our m and our b. And we're going to look at that a little bit more. So we are looking at these two types of relationships. This one in the top right-hand side is proportional. And how do I know it's proportional? Well, when I divide my y by my x, they're all going to be the same. And that means that when I am looking here, my b is equal to 0. So where I intercept this y-axis is at my origin, 0, 0. And we see that here in the table that the origin is 0, 0. Okay? When I am looking at the graph on the right, this one is non-proportional. So my b-intercept is negative 3. So it's going to cross my y-axis here at negative 3. And we see that when x is 0, y is negative 3. We see that all in here. Okay? These are representations of a proportional graph. And on the right, or at the bottom, we see representations of a non-proportional. Let's see that in practice a little bit more. So equations are in the form of y equals mx plus b. Number 1. Is because it has a b, that means it would be a non-proportional. So I'm going to put number 1 here. Graphs have an y-intercept of 0. Well, when the y-intercept is 0, it is proportional. So this one is proportional. Number 2. We're going to say non-proportional. Graphs have a y-intercept that's not 0. Well, that's going to be non-proportional because it means it goes somewhere other than the origin. Equations are in the form of kx. This is just another way of saying m, and plus b would be a 0. So this is going to be a proportional relationship. If they have a constant ratio or equal to each other, so if I look at this graph here, my proportional graph, 3 divided by 1 is 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Because all of these rates, all of those are a constant ratio, makes this a proportional. And graphs are always in the straight line. Well, that can really be proportional, but it can also be all proportional graphs are in a straight line. Not all non-proportional graphs are in a straight line. So we have proportional are 2, 4, and 5. And our non-proportional are 1, 3, and 6. Okay, so let's look at this graph here. I can distinguish between proportional and non-proportional relationship. I want to look at my y-intercept. I want to see where it is crossing my y. Here's my y-axis, and it crosses it right here. On a graph, for it to be a proportional relationship, it has to cross at 0. Did it cross at 0? No, it did not. That makes this a non-proportional relationship. Now, what if we had just seen this portion of the graph? We're not seeing any of this other portion of the graph. You can't see any of this. Is it going to change what I'm looking for if I can't see any of this? No, it shouldn't, because when I'm looking at this, I still know that this is 0, 0, right? If my line doesn't go through 0, 0, then it is a non-proportional relationship. Okay? It shouldn't matter where you see, which quadrant of the graph that you see. So I want you to look at this one. Think about it for a minute, pause the video, and then come back to it. Proportional or non-proportional? Where does it cross the y-axis? Crosses the y-axis right here. So that makes it proportional. All right, y equals negative 1x. So on an equation, I want to ask myself, I've got two relationships. Proportional is y is equal to kx, or y is equal to mx. And a non-proportional is y is equal to mx plus b. Does this have a plus b? No, it doesn't. So that makes this relationship a proportional one. So pause the video. Did you pause it? Is this one a proportional relationship? Y equals 4x plus 2. So I'm looking, does it have a b? It does. So it is non-proportional. Now on this table, we can do two different things on a table. We can look at the x value. If x is equal to 0, so if I have a 0 over here, I can look at my y, and my y needs to be 0 as well. But does any of my x's, do they have a 0? They don't. So we are going to use our calculators, and we're going to go into stat edit, and I'm going to enter in my x and my y. So I'm going to move over, and I'll put negative 2 and 2. You can enter the whole table. I'm only going to enter 2 points. That's all you need, and 1. So now that I've done stat edit, I'm going to go back to stat, and I'm going to make sure that my calc move over there. And I go down to this number 4 because I want it to tell me what my y-intercept is. So when I rewrite this equation, it will be y is equal to negative 0.5x plus 2. Well, it has a b. It's got a is equal to negative 0.5 and b is equal to 2. So because there's a b, it makes it a non-proportional relationship. Here's some points here. So I asked myself, Is x equal to 0? Are any of these x's 0? No, they're not. So I want you to pause the video and put this into your calculator and rewrite your equation. Did you pause your video? I hope you did. So let's do this together now. Stat edit, and I'm going to put 10. Now, remember when we are doing stat edit, we need our x's on the left and our y's on the right. So we want to be sure we rewrite them so that we put them in correctly. So over here, I need my 10. Below 10, I need 20. And then I have 60. Below my 60, I should have 120. Okay, 10, 20, 60. Okay, that looks right. So I go to stat, move over to calc, number 4, enter. So this equation, when I write it out, y is equal to 6x plus 0. Well, because that's 0, guess what? It is a proportional relationship. Okay, so if you go into the guided practice, there is a quizzes that will help you practice this information. If you don't understand it, please send me an email. I will also be on my Google Meets Thursday after school at 3:40.